Good Sunday morning, everyone. Thank you for heading over to clickorlando.com and the News 6 app and YouTube. It's August 27th at 11:46. I'm News 6 meteorologist Michelle Morgan. Now, Tropical Depression 10 has strengthened into now Tropical Storm Idalia. As of the latest update from the National Hurricane Center, it is packing winds of 40 miles per hour, moving to the east very slowly at 2 miles per hour. Now, it is expected to continue to linger over the Yucatan Channel as we go through today, tonight, and early tomorrow morning before heading northward toward the southeastern Gulf of Mexico. Now, it is going to continue to hold on to its tropical storm strength, but it is going to strengthen as it moves over very warm water. Not a whole lot of wind shear to tear it apart, and there's plenty of moisture for this system to get going. As of the latest update from the National Hurricane Center, it shows that Idalia could become a Category 1 hurricane as early as Tuesday afternoon, or maybe even earlier than that, with winds at 85 miles per hour. As we continue to track here, you can see the cone of uncertainty is rather large. Areas from the Panhandle stretching across Big Bend and the Gulf Coast need to pay attention to this forecast because landfall is likely in those areas as a Category 1 hurricane as early as Wednesday morning with winds of 90 miles per hour. Now, we'll continue to move to the northeast as we go through our Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday night, impacting portions of Georgia and the Carolinas, bringing tropical rain and also strong winds to those areas. Now, as we take a look at the forecast models, pretty good consensus, taking it to the north over the southeastern Gulf of Mexico, then eventually over the eastern Gulf of Mexico, impacting the Florida Panhandle, Big Bend, and the Gulf Coast, bringing strong winds, heavy rain, and also storm surge. Definitely all our concerns. As we take a look at the tropical satellite imagery, a lot of moisture is associated with this area. The center is over the Yucatan Channel, and it's expected to impact the Yucatan Peninsula as we go through today and tonight. In fact, a tropical storm warning is in effect for the Yucatan Peninsula today. As we go through tomorrow, as it moves to the north, there's a tropical storm watch in effect for western Cuba, where those areas could see tropical storm force winds, heavy rain, which could lead to mudslides, landslides, and storm surge in those areas as we go through Monday. Now, here's what you need to know. The time frame in terms of landfall, we're still thinking Wednesday morning across those areas I just mentioned, Panhandle, Big Bend, also Florida's west coast. Central Florida impacts, we will see some impacts out of the system, not direct impacts, but we're looking at tropical downpours, widespread rain, which could lead to localized flooding, and that will begin as early as Tuesday afternoon. Winds sustained between 25 to 35 miles per hour with stronger wind gusts. We could potentially see tropical storm force winds in our areas. Now, spin-ups are possible. It depends on the placement of this storm. If we're on the northeastern side of this storm, we could see a few spin-ups as it continues to pull to the northeast. Now, here's a look at the model comparison, the GFS and the Euro. So the Euro is showing Wednesday morning around 9. The Euro shows heavy rain impacting the Big Bend area, also Florida's west coast, as early as Wednesday morning, and it's showing a weaker system comparing to the GFS. Now, the GFS is showing a stronger system. A Cat 2 hurricane is not out of the question, but the National Hurricane Center, their forecast as of right now is showing a Category 1 hurricane. Now, the timing, we're looking at late morning, early Wednesday afternoon as it continues to pull towards the Panhandle. As I mentioned before, all of these areas need to pay close attention to this forecast as it can change. Now, here's a look at the steering pattern. We've been very hot across Central Florida for the past couple of weeks or so. Our temperatures have been well above average, and we've seen heat advisories and also heat warnings in effect, all due to an upper level high. Now, that high pressure system will continue to retreat to the west, allowing an upper level trough to develop over Virginia, the Carolinas. You can see that dip right there, but it is going to steer Idalia into our area or into the state. As I mentioned, we're looking at the Big Bend area, Florida Panhandle, and also the Gulf Coast. As it continues to get closer to those areas, we're looking at landfall Wednesday morning, according to the staring pattern. And again, that is the GFS model. That's what it is showing. So we'll continue to watch that and, of course, see if there are any changes as we go through the next couple of days. Rainfall potential. We're looking at the higher rates closer to the west coast. So along the coastal areas, between 2 to 4 inches, locally higher amounts are certainly possible as we head inland towards Orange County, also Lake County, Seminole County. Lesser amounts between 1 to 2 inches, and then along our eastern counties, Brevard County, coastal Volusia counties, less than an inch. So the closer you live to the west coast, you'll see the higher rainfall accumulation. Now along the Big Bend area and also Florida Panhandle, the latest models show between 6 to 8 inches and potentially 8 inches of rain, which can cause some damage along our coastal areas. Flooding definitely a concern there, and you can see there on your screen between 4 to 6 inches in those areas. Now the storm surge forecast, it hasn't changed much since my last update. We're looking at between 3 to 6 feet from Horseshoe Bend, Sewanee, Cedar Key. Again, that's when the water is pushed up over our coastline. That can cause erosion, damage along those coastal areas. But notice north of Horseshoe Bend could potentially see up to 9 feet of storm surge as that storm gets closer. Now, as we zoom things out here, taking a better look along the coastal or along the Gulf Coast, we're looking at 2 to 3 feet all the way down to the Keys. So this storm will continue to churn up the water and eventually push that water on land. So that is the latest update as of right now. I'll leave you with your 7-day forecast so you have an idea what to expect as we go through the next several days. Today's going to be hot and humid, 95 degrees, at 30% coverage for showers and storms. Not a whole lot of rain in the forecast. Now, as we head into tomorrow, notice that temperatures will still be rather hot, 94, but a 70% coverage for showers and storms. Our rain chances really ramp up on Tuesday due to Idalia. We'll see that tropical moisture move in. Tropical downpours are certainly possible. That setup will last into our Wednesday, also calling for a 90% with the rain heading our way. Also, plenty of clouds will remain over the area. That's going to keep our temperatures below average in the upper 80s and lower 90s. And there's a chance we could see that tropical moisture lingering over our area on Thursday, calling for an 80% coverage for that, a 60% on Friday. We'll see some sunshine with temperatures in the middle 90s. And then we're back to our standard summertime setup on Saturday, temperatures in the lower to mid 90s with a 50% coverage for showers and thunderstorms.